Oh, that looks bad. Well, welcome back to another episode of Idiots with Tools, where today I'm going to try to see if I can teach myself how to weld. So I think I have all the necessities: good pair of welding gloves, wire brush, some pliers to handle the metal, hammer, square, and a couple pieces of scrap metal. These actually used to be a bed frame. So if you have an extra bed frame laying around, they got some good angle iron in them. I also have this Chicago electric welder that I picked up at Harbor Freight many years ago, and it has spent most of its life right up there on that shelf. And like many welders, if you open it up, it's got all your dimensions here for what steel thickness you're working with, whether it should be set at min or max, and depending on the wire gauge, what speed that it should be set at. Just standard flux core wire welder. And I have had this welder for quite a few years, but never really learned how to use it, never really learned how to weld. I've done a few projects here and there, nothing that I would risk my life on, but I have some projects that I think I'm going to need a welder for. We're working on restoring the old 1956 Ford, which is going to require some welding because I just took off that rotted front support. I want to make a carry-all for the tractor out of an old wagon that I have out back, so that'll be a project. I also got some stuff I want to do to the trailer. Usually when I'm loading and unloading the tractor, I put jack stands down. I want to weld on some adjustable jack stands, and I'm also wanting to take the hideaway ramps and turn them into folding ramps. Not to mention adding a plate for a winch to sit on. I did take the metal and I grinded all the edges down so that I get the best penetration I can on the metal. I didn't take all the paint off because I'm just practicing, but if I was going to weld something structural, I'd probably clean more of that paint off of there. But that should work for at least learning to weld. So this metal that we're going to use is about 1/8 of an inch thick. So we will set our welder to max with a speed of 8, which seems kind of high to me. I think I'd come out pretty fast. So we'll slow it down a little bit, see how it works. So I think I'm going to start and try this way. And all I have is this little piece of metal to keep me from burning the table, which is another good idea. I could build myself a welding table. Sport myself my handy dandy helmet. Yep. Looks good. Set the welder to max. Turn it on. I'm gonna try a wire speed somewhere around 7. Got about 1/4 inch of wire sticking out. Let's see what kind of damage we can do. Can't see nothing. I didn't even hit the line. Let's try that again. God, I forgot my gloves. Okay, here we go again. Oh, that looks bad. There's attempt number 1. Not too good. Let's try flipping it over. Don't need that anymore. Maybe we do. Hold it to the table. There we go. Let's try this again. Oh, that looks better. Attempt number 2. That looks much better. One more time. Here we go. Attempt number 3. It don't look too bad. Let's keep going. Attempt number 3. Let's put this baby in the vise and see how good we did. Oh man, that's pretty good. I don't think that's going anywhere. Now what I want to do, I'm going to attempt to weld a longer strip. Get my metal halfway situated. Let's try that. Try to tack it. There we go. That's what we ended up with there. Not the straightest. It's not stacked dimes, but it seems to work. So we're just going to take this and set it down here on the floor for a little bit and let it cool off. I was quite worried about splatter because every time I tried to use this before, it had a lot of splatter coming off of it and made for really ugly welds, but maybe it was a technique I was trying before. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos on how to weld. Try to incorporate some of that into this. It seems to have helped. Not near as much slag coming off of it. Not near as much splatter that people always talk about with the Flux core welder. And this all, I think it was 125 bucks when I bought it. Seems to work just fine for my needs. Let's see if we can find something thicker. Found myself a couple of other pieces that I worked on a little bit before. It's about 1/4 inch thick. We'll see what we can do there. All right, here we go. Ooh, that's not so good. Well, there was good and bad on that one. That's the first side I tried, and that looks really bad. But then the camera died, and I welded the other side, and it looks pretty good. Still not stacking dimes, but I think that would hold up. Man, that welder sounds sick. Oh yeah, I'm ready for the big leagues. Maybe I should try underwater welding now. I'm genuinely quite proud of that. In 4 years, I have used maybe half a spool, and most of that was wasted. So to come out, it's probably been a year and a half, 2 years since I even touched it. I think that's pretty good. I'm pretty proud of myself. Pretty sure my wife's gonna wanna give me a big ol' "I'm proud of you" smooch, so I'm all in for that. But now I'm pretty sure that I have developed welding fever, and I am just looking everywhere for something that I can weld right now. But I don't have anything. So I think first thing tomorrow, after I get off work, run down to TSC, Menards, wherever's got the cheapest metal, with one of the projects in mind, and just go at it. What's the worst that's gonna happen? I can't think of a single thing that'd go wrong. So I went down to Menards and I picked up some 3-foot long angle iron. It is 1/4 inch by 2 inch for the project that I'm gonna work on. And I also picked up some 4-foot long angle iron, same size, for same said project. So maybe somebody can help explain to me why the price at Menards is $14 to $18 for that angle iron, and we went down to TSC and the exact same piece of angle iron, maybe it's a different company, was $24 to $27. I'm sure that maybe there's a difference in the quality of the metal, but is it that much of a difference that it's $10, $15 more for the exact same piece? And while I was waiting, I started practicing just some more welds. And I started with that one, then to that one, and that one. And I think it's turning out pretty good for first time welds, especially if you compare it to the welds that I found on the 56 Ford Fairlane that I am assuming were done by hand and not by a machine. And these things have held up for 60-something years now, so pretty sure anything that I weld will hold up pretty good. So I still have a few more pieces to gather for the project that I'm going to work on, but I think I'm going to make that a different video. As always, we appreciate you watching. If you got any tips or tricks for using this welder, I think it works fine for what I need. I think it's going to be more of technique, speed, material versus the welder. I'm sure you could get a welder, it's way more expensive. You can get a gas welder. I'm sure all those are going to work great. For my purposes, I think it's going to work fine, and it was, at the time, only $125. As always, we appreciate you watching. Please don't forget to like, please don't forget to subscribe. If you got any tips on how to use this welder a little bit better, send them on over. I'll read through them. I always appreciate feedback. That's going to do it for now. See you on the next one.